Hi guys, it's Kian. So today we're here with the full crew. I'm taking the full crew photo, which I usually do every once a year. So currently they're all on my bed, so the back row is standing on my blanket on my bed, and then the front row is sitting on like this small, I guess bedside table with a piece of brown cloth draped over. So here's the full crew. I'm gonna go zoom in later to tell you briefly about everyone. So this is also kind of like a doll collection video, I guess. But I think first thing that I wanted to do is really just talk a bit about the full crew photo that I take every year. So every year I'll take like a full crew photo just to assemble everyone, and it's quite a big process. I have to change everyone. So this year the theme is monochrome, and you saw a bit of Elfie's dress up and Gabby's dress up in the weeks before this, and I kind of like just dress everyone else up in my spare time. So dressing so many dolls up, it's quite a process. I spent about a month on and off dressing them. I mean, like obviously not all the time, but just on and off. And yeah, so this year, because I'm taking it against my green background, I thought black and white is the best so that they don't clash with the green. But you can see that there's a bit of a difference in their wig color. There's like a bit of greens, a bit of purples. I mean, his purple eyes. Yeah, so things like that. So there is a lot of like planning involved to get all of them ready. And I might talk a bit more about that in the voiceover, but let's just go into looking at each of them. Okay, so the first one here is Danny. Danny is a Vaux Olivia on a SD17 boy body. So this is him. Oh yeah, and let me show you. Okay, let me just start by showing you what this setup is like on my bed. So like I said, it's a green background, which is my room's wall, and then the back row are just standing on the blanket, and the front row is sitting on this bedside table with a piece of cloth draped over. The side is not the best thing, and you see my pillow is over there, but yeah, we work with what space we have, right? So the first one here is Danny, who is a Vaux Olivia on an SD17 boy body. The next one here is Salt, which I'm sure you're familiar with. He's appeared in a few videos. Right, Salt is a switch sofa on an Ipoh House SID body with the neck modded. And then these are my Muso twins. This one on the left is Tones and this is Pepper. They are from Switch, Ryuzo and Milk Tea Rose, and Mocha Brown. And then over here, this is Sion. It's like not focusing on him. Okay, but anyway, Sion is a Megiddo Miho on a SD17 body, Vaux SD17 body. Okay, then over here we have, this is Joe, who is a distant memory Perov on a Dollstown 15 body, and Gabby, who is a CP Liché on a Delph body. The only floating head I have, who is Dennis, a Lutz Bliss, and this is Cypher, who is a little Fee Pong Pong. Then Parker, who is a Canador Adrian on a little Monica Harmony body, which is like kind of 63 cm-ish. And then the last two, Elfie, my Switch Wasson, and Pebbles, my Unoa Lilin on the 1.5 body. So I'm just going to zoom out so you can roughly see here. And do excuse the very, very shaky camera work. My camera is very heavy. So we're now on my phone camera, just to give you an idea. So this is the camera that I use. The Nikon D7000, which is quite a few years old. And usually I would have it on, nowadays I would just have it on the viewfinder so it's easier to see. If not, I'll look through this. It's running out of battery. I'm just gonna switch it off. I already took some photos. I might take some fun shots later, but this is roughly what it looks like. So the video just now was super shaky because this camera is really heavy. But yeah, so let me just show you a bit of like how they are standing. So there is a bit of a gap and all of them are just standing inside there like that. I tap on their feet to make sure that they're all standing quite firmly on the ground. And these four in the front row actually don't really have much space. You can see that their shoulders are overlapping. And yeah, getting everybody to look in the front, like towards this camera, is a pain. Like I'm sure not everyone is looking towards the camera. And yeah, just like getting so many dolls in focus is also a pain. So I usually have to use a very high f-stop on my DSLR to get a good photo, so that like the back row and front row and like this even more in the foreground, all their face-up details can be seen. So because of that, I went for a very unbusy background so that it doesn't, like when I get the details on the face-up, I don't get like a ton of noise in the back as well. So this is the third year that I've been doing this full crew photo like systematically. In the past, I would just like plonk all of them down on the ground and take a photo. That one doesn't really have any planning. I'll just take the photo in whatever clothes they're wearing. I'll put in some pictures of what those photos look like in the past. But in the last few years, I thought I would do it with a bit more planning. So one year, the first time I did it recently was like, I did it on the sofa, and then another time I did it in front of the shoe cabinet. And yeah, this year I'm doing it in front of my wall next to my bed. So yeah, I mean, it's just a challenge to have so many dolls around. And the reason why they're on my bed this year is because last year they were all seated and there wasn't much to do, so I thought I'll do a bit of like layers this time. And my bed is a nice soft surface for them to fall on if anything happens. So that's great. Yeah, I think that's all I wanted to say today. So this is what my current full crew looks like. I did want to say that when I was dressing all of them, I got so tired that I was like, I'm glad I don't have more dolls. And that's kind of like what made me not buy more dolls recently. Like every time I'm tempted, I'm like, it took me so much effort to dress all of them that it's just not worth it. It's not worth it to have more because it takes so much work to maintain them. So yeah, I guess that's something I learned this time. And I don't know, I guess we'll see how like every year as I take photos whether this will improve. Taking photos with a lot of dolls is honestly quite a pain if you're doing it alone. It's much easier if you have friends to help, especially to spot the dolls in case they fall. Or if you have doll stands, which I don't, you can clearly see that none of them have any stands, so they're just standing by leaning on the wall. So I take a lot of precautions to make sure that they don't fall. And yeah, and now I'm really tired. And okay, so voiceover Kian here / editing Kian. I wanted to go a bit into like the planning that I went behind it, because I didn't really mention it when I was vlogging it on the day that I took the full crew photo. So my doll anniversary is on August 30th. I bought my first doll, Gabby, and he arrived on 30th August 2009. So that is my doll anniversary, and usually I try to post my full crew photo on August 30th, or at least I've been doing so for the past 2 years, and this will be the third year. So in order for me to be able to post on August 30th, like the actual anniversary day itself, I would plan to take photos such that I have enough time to like dress everyone, take the photos, edit it, and post it on August 30th itself. So what I've done previously and what I continue to do is sometime in July, I would start planning how I'm going to take this full crew photo. So this is from this year's iteration. In the previous years, I didn't plan as much. I kind of just like plop everyone down, or I did a sketch of how I would have everyone. This year, I did a sketch and I actually rearranged them. And then like thought through what clothes that they will wear. I did also think through what clothes they wear in last year's photo. I didn't think it through as thematically in 2019, which I think is the first year I started doing this like as an annual thing. So so what I'll do is I'll lay out everyone first, and then I'll decide what I'm gonna do. So like I mentioned earlier, I posted everyone in I post everyone in the same line last year, so I thought like that was kind of flat for a photo. I wanted to have a bit more layers this time, so I arranged everyone in 2 rows, and in order to do that, I decided to have 1 row seated and 1 row standing. So I used this bedside table that my sister got for us to work from home. Basically, it's, yeah, I guess it could be a breakfast table. I don't know. Anyway, so I used this table and I set 4 doors down in front and 5 doors behind. The first time I did it, I put all my switch doors in front because I was like, hey, thematic, right? But then you realize that the short doors, who are Parker, Joe, and Gabby, can't really be seen because they are like, Gabby's like 60 cm tall, Parker and Joe are like 63, and then everybody else in the crew is 65 cm, so they get hidden, and that was a bad idea. So also ignore the fact they're wearing their face mask. I was just too lazy to take it off. This is like just my, I guess, a draft of how things would go. So after that, I rearranged them and I decided to put the short ones in front and the tall ones behind. So since I have 3 short ones, they are all in front: Parker, Gabby, and Joe. And Alfie just got put to the front because, like, yeah, like I just had to choose somebody. So he's in front, and then I tried to make the back kind of symmetrical. So I put Danny and Sion on the corners because they're both on SD17 bodies, and then the twins I tried to keep together. So like that's why Salt is not in the middle, and also Salt was in the middle last year. So I was like, nah, don't let him be in the center again. So yeah, Tones is in the center, just like for whatever reasons that makes sense. Then after that, I was originally gonna take it where I took this photo, which is like in front of my cabinet, which is where most of my doll photos are taken. Just because there's not a lot of space in the house where there's like a decent enough backdrop. But then because there's so many dolls, it gets a bit cramped, and I didn't really want the background to be uneven, so I switched it to the green wall inside my room. So the green colored wall is on my bed, so I shifted everyone there and I did like a very rough draft of what it would look like roughly. And as you can see, I didn't even put all the dolls onto this draft picture, but I just wanted to see like how they would look. Then after that, I took out my notebook and then I drew in who I wanted to have in what order. So you can see this like terrible drawing of just like everyone named. So initially I was gonna go with like a few colors for their clothes, but then after a while I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna go monochrome because the green is too striking. So after deciding on monochrome, I tossed my notebook down and I started pulling out clothes for all of them. So I started laying it down onto the dolls itself, which is this like weird photo here where you can see everyone just has clothes lying on them, and that is me keeping in mind roughly how they'll be seated. So you can see like the top row is all the people in the back, all the dolls in the back, and then the front row is the ones in front. So I tried to have some symmetry in the amount of whites I wanted. So that's why the corners of both rows are the dolls that are wearing a bit of white and everybody else is just in like full black. And later on I did tweak some of the outfits, but this was like just the general idea. And yeah, and then I thought like out of all this, right, I have to change so many dolls, let's just make a few dress up videos out of this. So that's why there was that one with Elfie and another one with Gabby. But honestly, dressing dolls is fun, but not when you have to dress like so many. And I didn't even put the small ones in this picture because I was like, I'll just fit them in somehow later. So dressing, is it 12 dolls now? 11, 9, 11 dolls and one head. Okay, so I don't have to dress the head. Dressing 11 dolls is quite a bit of effort. And at this point, I think Pebbles was still not strung up yet. And then like I still had a bunch of other stuff to be done. So I made a list of everything that I needed to do because there was just so many tasks involved. Like some people needed to be strung up. I think Joe wasn't strung. No, Joe was strung at this point because he was here. But like there were so many tasks to be done that I had to like just list everything down on paper so that I could get it done, and also try to schedule it with my YouTube videos, which is this very messy planning on paper that you probably don't understand and probably don't care to understand, but it's fine. I mean, it's really for me, but I just wanted to show you like what I do. And it's probably over the top. I'm sure you can get a full crew photo without doing all this planning, but I really really wanted my photos to be on time, like on August 30th itself, and I wanted to do it in a way that doesn't give me too much stress. Like the planning is stressful, definitely, and like I think um like I was definitely slightly stressed about it, but if I didn't plan it, I would have been even more stressed about it. So yeah, this is just kind of how I do it. And yeah, and I completely forgot to take a fun group photo because I was just exhausted by the end of taking this full crew photo. In previous years when I took full crew photos, I didn't do a video with it, so I think adding a video and having to talk sapped more brain cells. So that is why this video is not particularly coherent. But I hope you enjoyed the full crew sort of like intro, I guess. I guess this is the only video I have where you see my full crew and I tell you who everyone is. And also a bit of like this behind the scenes of how I plan to take my full crew photo, because yeah, it does take some planning. Either that or you just have to have a lot of stamina and muscle your way through it for the whole day, which is something that I don't want to do. So because I'll basically be out of commission for like the next week or two if I do that. So I just don't have the stamina. And this is how I do it. So I hope you enjoy this video. Let me know what you think in the comments below. How many dolls do you currently own? And do you take full crew photos? And why or why not? Alright, that's all for today. Thanks for watching. Bye! I just want to end this video.